in the future. My brother Bag stopped me when I first came in this morning, and he said, I got to leave at 12 o'clock. Am I making that up, brother? I didn't. He said, I got to go home and cook dinner for my family. So if I leave at 12 o'clock, I guess you all are used to staying an hour and a half in church. I'm not. I've been in the pew for 12 and a half years, and I'll tell you what, right about 4 to 10 more minutes, I'm ready to roll. So I said, listen, I'll be out of here way before 12 o'clock. And he looked at me like, yeah, I remember you back in the day. You kept us here forever. But I got 12 years of sitting in the pew, and I know how hard it is. Your mind starts to wander. You start thinking about other stuff. Is your team going to win today in the bracket? Are you going to get your brackets screwed up with the NCAA? So we'll get to the meat and potatoes. We'll wrap it up in a couple minutes. God is faithful in the past. God has been faithful, I believe, for the future. So we can draw a conclusion now. God is faithful for the present. And this is the meat and potatoes. This verse I want you to turn to. Book of Jeremiah. Chapter 29. Because I've been thinking, when I finally told Dale, yes, I would do this, I was thinking, what do I tell this church, Lord? The last time I was here, I didn't even start the sermon. Some of you were here. It was a tough time. Let me tell you about needing God's faithfulness. I vowed to God, and I'm here in front of him. I'm laid bare. I would never preach again. That's what I said. My wife had my testimony. Is that true? I'm not making it up. So for these two men to ask me at the point in time when they did, about a month ago, I'm flabbergasted that the word rolled off. When I told my family, they went, what? Because they know what I said. They know how I've been. So I said, Lord, if I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it one time, and that might be it. Give me something really from your heart to this congregation. Because you all have been, as a congregation, to my family when we went through that terrible time. You were Jesus Christ incarnate to us. Those of you who were here, without going into details, you were the Lord's love when I personally was unlovable. So I want to share this with you. This isn't just some guy coming in and talking for a few minutes. Please receive this. I believe that God has said to me, this is what they need to hear today. These couple of minutes. That he's faithful for you right now in your present, whatever that means. Jeremiah 29. Here's where the glasses come into play. Verse 11. You know, it's interesting. I was studying this morning, and my Bible's kind of like a map. And I write stuff in my Bible when verses mean a lot to me. Talk about, I don't believe in coincidence, and you can verify this when we're done in a minute. The last time I shared this verse publicly, it's dated 10/31/1993, and guess what church it was? First Alliance Church. It was the second to last time I ever preached. I don't remember the sermon, I don't expect you to, but it was used because it's dated. I date everything. I'm kind of crazy about that. Here's what God says to you for his faithfulness to you today. I know the plans that I have for you, First Alliance Church. I know the plans that I have for you, individual family member of First Alliance Church. I know the plans that I have for you, everyone who sits here today who came as a guest, as a first-time visitor, someone who just came as a support friend, family member. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare, King James has good, not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. The great thing about God I want to share with you today is that he knows all about you. Now these are cute little things, but they make sense. God knows every hair on your head. That's what the scriptures tell us, don't they, in the Gospels? He knows the hairs on your head. He's so intimately acquainted with you, he knows every hair that's numbered. Again, I didn't get into this one because it's vanity, but there's a lot less hair on this whole head. Looks a little bigger because it's my wife, when she still cuts at 37 years of hair cutting, I save a lot of money over the years of marriage. But Kathy cutting it. Every time she cuts it, I hear the crack from her mouth. Smiley face is growing. But it's either that or pay 30 bucks, and I'm too cheap to do that, so we put up with the abuse and move on. God knows the hairs on your head. God knows the tears that you shed. Just stop for a second. If you've shed any tears lately, maybe you don't tell anybody about that. But it could very well be that there's been some days recently when you've shed a tear or two. God knows the hairs on your head. He knows the tears that you shed. God knows the hours you spend kneeling beside your bed. He sees from heaven what you're doing. When in those private moments, God even knows the times when you're being misled. He's acquainted with you, and he has a plan for you. Because he's a faithful God, you can accept this. And I know there are needs here that only God can meet. The fact is, the truth is that God's faithful. Amen? He's faithful. If someone promised me they were going to say a lot of amen to his pardon letters. Yeah, sure. Come on, where's the amen? Help me man out here. God is faithful. He knows your situation. No one else might know anything you're going through, but God is faithful, and he knows it. And he knows when you're all alone, he knows what you need. Before you ever even ask him for it, he's already usually working on it. As a matter of fact, he said in I think it's Ephesians, he'll do exceeding abundantly beyond whatever you can ask or think. That's for today. That's not just down the road. It's not just some majestic concept that we quote sometimes. That's for you and me today. I was preparing this sermon the other day. I'll let you in on a secret. Now, you can't talk about what I'm about to tell you for 72 hours. Do you have me promise? I mean, I'm not kidding. This is top-level secret. You don't know me, but I'm not kidding. I'll have to get my cousins from New York to visit you if you breach the confidence. If anyone can't keep a secret for 72 hours, if you can't, but you can, then leave. I'm preparing this sermon